This is my tiny kitchen, very tiny, very small fridge. And if you're wondering where exactly I do my cooking, I'll show you what happens here. So this actually slides out, the bench top slides across, like so. This bit comes down. So yeah, in the original days of this caravan, that would have been a gas cooker there, but I don't like gas in caravans, so I put a little baby microwave in there just for reheating things and cooking things up. And then when I want to cook stovetop, tucked in behind here, I've got a little 2-burner hot plate that I got from Kmart for $20, which is perfect. I don't really need more than that. And then stashed down the side, just providing a little bit of padding when I'm moving around, is my ice packs, which I actually use in my fridge. I've got a little teeny tiny freezer, and I will actually freeze those ice packs just before I'm going to travel, and then put them in the fridge to turn it into an ice box, because it's only a 240 volt fridge as well. So yes, no 12 volt here, but I'm so happy with my little caravan home. I'm airing out those back cupboards at the moment because there was getting a lot of condensation in them, so I found packets of toilet paper just the right size to prop those doors open. But yeah, nice view at the moment right on the creek, so pretty happy with that. So yep, I'm going to get back to this cooking and start boiling these beans up. Here I've got my red kidney beans that have been soaking overnight. They've pretty much almost doubled in size just from soaking, and I did drain the water and refill the water at some stage about halfway through the soaking process. But these guys are all ready to be boiled up now. Beans, saucepan, crank it up to boiling, and then I'll just sort of simmer it for, I don't know, kind of like with all my cooking, until it's ready. I'm not sure how long that will take. Oh, wrong one, that's the microwave. I don't want to plug in the microwave. I want to plug in the hot plate. I do have a double adapter, so I can actually run both at the same time if I need to. That doesn't happen very often. My meals are pretty simple, 1 or 2 pots. So what I'm going to be making is this yummy dish. Boil up the kidney beans, or obviously you could use a can of kidney beans. Fry up some onion and garlic in a pan. I use my cast iron again because it's deep and it's good for this kind of dish. Onion and garlic, then you put the beans in, then you put in some either tomato, like diced tomato, chopped tomato, tomato puree, or salsa, pre-made salsa if you prefer it that way. Although I usually just add all the spices, cumin, Mexican chili powder, things like that. Put that all in there. Put about a cup and a half, I think it is, of what, it really depends. Again, I'm not good at measuring things. I just kind of go, that looks about right. Put some water in there, some stock cubes. The ones I use, I really love these. These Marcel stock cubes, and it says beef, but they are actually vegetarian stock cubes, so there's no actual meat products in there, but the flavor's really yummy. And I put that, I think I put 2 in last time, just because I don't add salt, so the stock cubes give the flavor. And then you put in about a cup of quinoa into the whole mixture, and then chop up anything green you've got. So I've just been to the community garden down the road because I just love fresh green things straight out of the garden. So I've got a whole bag full, and I've got in here broccoli leaves. The broccoli hasn't made any broccoli yet, so I just picked the leaves. I've got some silver beet leaves, some rocket leaves, basically a whole handful of leaves. Right, look at this. Good stuff. Yum, yum, yum. And the other thing I got was, beet greens. So from the beetroot that aren't ready yet, I just steal a few of their leaves. And of course, the magic ingredient. I already told you how much I love this stuff. Coriander, cilantro. God's gift to humans. But you can put in there zucchini, you could put in carrots, you could put in pumpkin, you could put in whatever you want. Just throw in a bunch of vegetables. I just go with whatever's in season. Oh, and some, look at the size of these. These are the capsicums I got from the garden. They're not very happy capsicums, but they do the trick. High in vitamin C. I chop them all up as well and put them in. So, you know, whatever you've got, it's one of those kind of dishes that you can just put in anything and it'll taste great. The coriander makes it taste amazing. The spices and garlic and onion and things like that make it great. And then you just simmer it away in the pot for maybe 20-30 minutes until the quinoa has absorbed all the moisture from the stock. And it is a delicious dish. I actually, because I'm doing the Starch Solution thing at the moment, I find that it's really yummy on a bed of mashed potato and sweet potato. Like I'll do the potato up, mash the sweet potato on the potatoes, and then put this sort of like chili. It's kind of like chili con carne, but it's chili sin carne, which is Spanish for without. So it's chili sin carne. Not sinful, bloody opposite of sinful. Really good for you, packed full of protein, nutrients, good things. And that big dish that I will make, I mean, there's a lot of beans in here. I think I probably overdid it on the beans, but I'll make that up. And it will, I mean, you could do it in a slow cooker as well if you wanted to. I thought about doing that, but I just want to get it done quickly, and then I'll put it in the fridge, and that will pretty much feed me for probably 3 or 4 dinners. It's, you know, and again, at a cost of, I mean, the dried beans, they're so cheap when you buy them like that in a big bag. The greenery was free from the garden. I paid $10 membership to get and raid their garden whenever I'm here. Quinoa is probably the most expensive ingredient, but the amount you're using is fairly minimal. You could also probably use rice. I haven't tried that, but I thought instead of quinoa, you could also put rice in there. And again, one of my famous $2 meals. I think there's no way it would cost more than $2. Yeah, and actually probably almost cost $2 for the whole lot that lasts me a few days. So this is how I eat really healthy food, lots of nutrients and good healthy things for bugger all money, really. And I'm finding now, at first when I started doing this McDougall plan, whole foods, plant-based, I probably wasn't 100% on it. Like, I'd have a few cheat days, and he says don't have a cheat day, because the reason he says that is because he reckons that if you tell people they can have a cheat day, then that, you know, some people just can't stop. They just keep breaking the rules all the time, and you know, ideally you don't have any cheat days at all. But he said pretty much people are going to cheat on their own, so you don't need to give them permission. And I was doing that. I was cheating a couple of times, but I did notice the difference. And when I had that emotional, stressful situation that I was going through with family stuff and the trip to Melbourne, a lot of stress and anxiety in my life will definitely trigger off my autoimmune conditions a lot worse. The interstitial cystitis and the RA flare up. I get a lot of pain and a reaction. So that's enough for me to go, well, you know, I'll do whatever it takes to have a healthy life and not be in pain every day. So I've been really strict on this now for the last few months, and really amazing results blood test wise. I had blood tests a couple of weeks ago, and my cholesterol had gone, you know, from 7.6 about 6 months ago down to 5.3. So the doctor was really happy with that and said, well, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. So and I'm enjoying it. It's filling. It's a lot of, you know, it just feels good when you're eating healthy food. I feel my energy has improved, my mood has improved, definitely a lot less RA pain. I keep going like this with my fingers all the time. Like, I can't stop playing with my fingers and just doing things with them, because there's so much freedom of movement in them, which is another reason why I play saxophone a lot, to sort of keep those fingers, you know, use it or lose it, right? So I've been walking every day, at least half an hour, and just trying to keep physically active as well. But my sleep has improved, which has improved my mental state, my mood. I feel a lot more optimistic, and I'm waking up less times during the night with the bladder pain, with the IC. So obviously this is working. And, you know, it's not like I haven't tried other similar types of diets before. I've tried so many different natural healing approaches, and, you know, get frustrated when people say, have you tried this, have you tried that? You know, when you're in as much pain as I have been in, you literally will try anything, and it gets really frustrating. But this, I think, is actually working on not just a physical level, but I feel better about myself. I know that ethically it's good. I'm not eating processed foods. I'm not eating anything that's out of a packet that's got numbers in it. And I'm eating things fresh out of the garden and growing. Parsley is another really good thing. I put in a parsley in pretty much everything I cook. Getting a lot of iron, so my iron levels were all good. My, you know, magnesium, potassium, all that sort of stuff. Breakfast has been oats with banana or any kind of fruit, with a bit of chia seeds and LSA mix, which is linseed, sunflower seeds and almonds ground up. I just use a little teaspoon of that. So yeah, I'll keep you posted on how this is working. But, you know, another Lisa in her tiny kitchen video, because I quite enjoyed doing the last one, and a few people were quite impressed with my efforts. So yeah, this is how I live, super cheap. And these days, with petrol prices being the way they are, I have to live super cheap. Food is the, you know, is something that I really am mindful of not overspending on, and I don't eat out, and I don't have lunches at cafes or anything like that. I prepare all my meals at home, and like I said, I've been buying the beans, the oats, the rice, all those kind of staples, even the flour. I've been buying in bulk 5 kilo bags from a place called Honest to Goodness that has all organic, natural foods, and you can buy smaller bags as well. But I just find it, if I'm going to, you know, get stuff delivered, I may as well get a bulk of it, and it lasts me for months. So it works out really cost effective, and I know I'm getting good organic produce, which out in the country in the IGAs you're not going to get. You're not going to get organic everything. And yeah, anyway, look, did you see my hair today? I made a bow. Isn't it cute? I'm so excited about it. I had to go in to get passport photos for me and Pixie Angel, because we've got our 3-yearly assistance dog reassessment thing coming up, and we have to resubmit all the paperwork again. So I put makeup on and just like, oh, I'm going to go have passport. So I did my hair in a cute little bow. I'm really stoked with that. And I actually ended up putting some hair colour in too, because I said I was happy with the grey, and the reason why I was happy with the grey was because I was really wanting to dye my hair pink like Pixie's tail. I've been dying to do the pink thing, but it you know, it wasn't really going white grey. It was more like a silver colour. So this is almost as close to pink. I feel like I got a real, it's called Strawberry Kiss, this colour, and I actually really like it. I think it's kind of, I don't know, just, you know, playing with my hair. It's all good fun. You've got to keep yourself entertained, right? So anyway, back to my cooking. So the trick here with the onions and the garlic is to get it as brown as possible, like almost burnt. The more dark that onion and garlic gets, the more flavour it gives to the whole dish. So we want them really nice and well cooked. Okay, so they're looking about where we want them to be now, which is pretty good. I'll just turn it down a little bit. And I'm going to put in all my beans. Put some beans in there. This is going to be a real beany one. Right. Now add in the quinoa. Bit more water. And put a salsa in it, like a pre-made salsa if you want to do that. But I'm just using just a tomato passata sauce, because I'm adding the Mexican chili powder and the cumin and the spices and everything, so I don't really, and onion, I don't really need all that other stuff that comes in salsa. So I'm just using plain tomato. I don't know, about a cup, about a cup of water. They say you can put, I mean, you can put 2 cups of water. The quinoa will absorb all the moisture, obviously, so, and it pretty much doubles in its size. So, you know, 2 cups of liquid, I put a cup of water and about a cup of that tomato. If it feels like it's getting too dried out at any point in time, then you just add a little bit more moisture. It's pretty easy. So, and then I'll show you what else goes into it. I'm going to add my favorite thing, cumin, and I like lots of cumin. Probably a couple of teaspoons. Mexican chili powder, which has also got cumin in it, and a bit of chili and a bit of, I don't know, paprika or something. You can make it up if you don't like it too spicy. You can put, if you haven't got fresh garlic, just garlic powder is fine. I don't add any salt when I'm cooking because I sprinkle the salt on top when I'm serving it to eat. So that kind of reduces salt a little bit. Now I'm going to turn it right down to a simmer and get the veggies ready. A whole bunch of green leaves. It doesn't really matter, they shrink down quite a bit, so I just, and I use the stalks and everything, just chop them up nice and fine. I've got some, my beautiful coriander, I've put that aside because that'll go in towards the end. This is just preparing all the yummy goodness. Definitely getting the serves of vegetables in this meal, for sure. And like I said, you can put whatever you've got. Any other vegetable works well in it. Chop them up fairly small. There's a lot of good green stuff there. Look at that. A bucket full of goodness. So that's simmering away, and about 20 minutes before the quinoa absorbs all that moisture. So I'm going to go ahead and dump my green stuff in there. Just like that. Lots of green stuff. Tip it all in. Yum, yum. And what's that? We've got a bit of coriander snuck in there. You can wait till later. So that's just going to steam away like that for a minute. And I'll just let that simmer away for a bit until those leaves wilt a little bit more. Looking good. Time for me to show you my little they're so tiny they don't even have seeds in them. I think the garden needs a little bit more fertilization to get these veggies into a good size, but I'll chop them up really small. Look, every little bit adds to the flavor and also the nutritional value. You get all the good stuff from these guys. Are packed full of vitamin C and all sorts of good things. So yeah, they might be teeny tiny, but we got a lot out of it, especially if you chop it up small. Reminds me of that Madeline song that my daughter used to love, the TV show cartoon Madeline. She may be teeny tiny, diminutive, petite, but that has never stopped her from being pretty neat. And that's what I feel about these guys. Teeny tiny capsicums. Yum. Throw them in there. Give them all a stir around. I did actually add a bit more water in there because it was reducing quite quickly. But as you can see, those greens are already starting to shrink quite significantly. And I've only got my little pan on 2, so it's on quite low. Cast iron, so fun to cook with. This is the sort of thing, I actually bought the cast iron pot for cooking outside on the fire because I love cooking on the fire. But today I'm cooking inside. That's one good thing about not cooking meat in the caravan. Like, I'm always really conscious of being in such a tiny space that this, you know, smells tend to permeate inside a caravan. So good thing about cooking vegan meals is that the most it's going to smell like is a Mexican restaurant at the moment from all this all these lovely flavors in here. But I have got, I'll show you what I've got. I've got my window and my door open to allow flow through at the moment. Yeah, so when I'm cooking, I always have my little, I've got a little window above the stove area here, see? And if I have that all the way open, and then I just have my door cracked open a bit, the flow through from the door, from the window, most of the steam and all that, hopefully the smells, goes out that little window. It's like having an exhaust fan in your stove. But you know, I try to air it out as much as possible when I'm cooking, because yeah, I don't want my pretty little caravan to smell like a funky restaurant. But I do love cooking with my spices, so there's going to be a certain amount of smells lingering. And every time there's a sunny day, like today was a beautiful sunny day, I always open everything up and let it air out. And then I also make my own air freshener spray. I just use water and essential oils, and I'll often spray them around. But you know what it's like, you never know what your own house smells like, and I'm always wondering, like, when other people come here, does it smell strange? I actually asked the kids, I'm like, does my caravan smell strange, especially in winter when it's closed up a lot? They said, no, it definitely has a certain smell to it, but it's not a bad smell. I'm like, okay, good. As long as it's not a, you know, yeah, some caravans you go in, they smell horrible, musty and horrible. That's why I'm airing out all these end cupboards at the moment. I had to take everything out of them because the condensation on the inside. Mosquito? What? Get out of my house. One problem about having the door open. Yeah, the condensation on those end cupboards. I mean, most of the things that I had stored in there were in plastic containers or plastic bags. But I did have a pair of Ugg boots up there, even though they were in the box. They started going a bit moldy, and I thought, if that's what's happening up there, then it could be happening inside the walls as well. So I pulled everything out, and I've been airing them all for the last sort of week or so. Keeping a window open at night to make sure that that condensation doesn't build up, because it's nothing worse than living in a musty, moldy environment. And I know a lot of caravans, you know, I've noticed that some old, especially old caravans, you get that real musty odor. And that's why whenever I get a new caravan, the first thing I pull out is all the original, like, upholstery and the foam and the curtains and anything fabric that can absorb smells. I get rid of all of that straight away and always put fresh new foam dinette seats, covered them myself, fresh new curtains, so that there's no lingering mustiness just from having them closed up most of their lives. You know, they do tend to get a little bit funky. Oh, this is looking good. I'll show you how it looks. This is pretty much done. I can't think of anything else I've missed. I've put the spices, the vegetables. Oh, the coriander. Might be time for some magic coriander in there. I'm not going to put all of it in. I'll put most of it in there. But this part I leave aside and sprinkle it on top. That little bit there, sprinkled it on top when I serve it, because fresh raw coriander is just heavenly. I've just done a little taste test, and I've decided more cumin, because I do love my cumin, but otherwise, oh, it actually tastes really good, really, really good. Now, you can see by the quantity of it, I mean, that's a lot of food there, and especially if you do, I mean, the quinoa's in there, well, you don't really need it extra with rice, but you could so easily serve that. You could do it without the quinoa, I suppose. Serve it on a bed of rice, or as I'm going to do, serve it on a bed of mashed potato and sweet potato. And 1, 2, I mean, that's 3, probably 4 decent sized dinners for me there. And that's how you do it. Just turn it right down and just let it do its thing. This is the potato dish that I'd made last night, I think it was, yeah, last night, and I actually had some tinned corn in the fridge, so I threw that in there. But you can actually throw that in the bean mix as well, and that's just sweet potato, corn, and some herbs and spices, and that's because it's leftovers. That will go on top of that, and that's my dinner. I've just turned the heat off now. Just that pan will stay hot for probably the next 5 minutes and it'll keep bubbling away, but it's pretty much ready now. Taste testing it, it doesn't need any extra salt. The stock cubes have provided plenty. And another thing I was going to say, you could also use this mixture. It's almost like a refried bean. Well, it is basically refried beans. You could use it in a burrito or an enchilada, and I love burritos using my wraps, like I showed you how I make my own wraps. So that wrapped up with this in the middle, and then pan fry it on each side, make it crispy, is actually really, really yummy. If you like cheese and you're not on a restrictive diet and you want to add cheese on it, that would be delicious. I do love cheese. It's the only thing I'm missing about this Whole Foods plant-based, is I used to add cheese to everything, but that's probably why I end up with a cholesterol problem. So anyway, enough yabbering from me. I'm going to go and enjoy this delicious dinner. I've just finished my dinner and it was delicious, and I just wanted to add, tomorrow I'll definitely make burritos out of that. Just with the cast iron pan, never use detergent or soap on your cast iron pan, and even though I'm not cooking with oil, I do season my pan. Like I rinse it out with water and clean it with a paper towel and just coat it a little bit with oil at the end, so it's, you know, it's all, obviously it's all clean now, but it's just been coated with the oil, and I leave that on the hot plate just so that the oil soaks into the metal, and that's what gives it that non-stick coating. So basically every time I'm cooking I'm doing that. So even though I don't have to add the oil when I actually cook, I do actually add oil to the pan at the end and let it smoke itself. It's just starting to smoke off a little bit now. This is another cool thing I got from Amazon, I think it was. It's just a silicone handle that comes on and off your cast iron. I'll turn that off now. That's pretty much done. Makes it, you know, easier to handle it, obviously, when you're cooking. Anyway, it's getting dark in here now, so I'm going to switch this off. And yeah, thanks for joining me in my tiny kitchen again. I hope you enjoyed it. Get creative.